Hello, my name is David Webb and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster based in England and have played tournament Scrabble at the highest level for more than 20 years, including representing England at 5 World Championships. In this video I am going to play Scrabble with another player over the internet and provide in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will be both interesting and help to improve your game. Now, moments ago I logged on to the Internet Scrabble Club and challenged the highest rated players not currently playing to a game where we each have 20 minutes to make all our moves. The first to respond was Pichai, so off we go. Pichai has opened with a bingo, N-ation, which takes a V in front and an S after it. I certainly don't have a bingo. I have the Q, which is a tricky tile, which it's generally best to get rid of as soon as possible. And the easiest way to do that on this board is to play QI, a very useful two-letter word. And I've picked up the X. I won't be able to play a bingo with this rack, but I should be able to play the X off and get a reasonable score. Indeed, my opponent has very nicely placed the O above a triple letter score, which means that I can play X or XO. Well, XO scores 3 more points. But the O goes quite nicely with CEHOT, and also the O can go underneath OX to make OXO, which may be useful for me next turn if my opponent doesn't have an O or a Y. So I think I will forego the extra points and just play X. And by holding on to the O, I have now picked up another O, which is not good. This looks close to a bingo, but my opponent in playing HAE has taken out the floaters from N-ation, the letters ENA, through which I could have played an 8-letter word. So I don't think I have a bingo here. But I can take advantage of the O hook for Ox. Now Oho scores 22, but is there something better? What's good about Oho is the leave, C-E-I-T. Those letters go quite nicely together. What's bad about Oho is that it places the O directly above a double word square, so a 4-letter word from L12 through to L15 could score very highly if he places tiles with high point values on L12 and L15. But if I don't play Oho, what are the alternatives? I don't have anything I can put after NYE. I noticed that I could put an H after HE, that is the E of N-ation, to make HEH. then it would be difficult to play off one or both those. I think Oho probably is best. And if my opponent does take that, make that play on row L, he will at least provide access to the triple word squares at H15 and O15. Now, I don't have a 7-letter bingo with this rack. If my opponent were to play a floating R in the right place, I would have Toriutik. Well, my opponent's played OO for what looks like 4 points, which suggests he's got a very good rack and is fishing for a bingo play next move. For my part, I would like to address the duplicate T, playing off one of those, and also get rid of the U. And probably play the O as well, so the 3 letters I picked up, O-U-T, would be helpful to play. Well, the play I'm looking at, and I'm going to put it down while I consider it, is Cutto. If my opponent does have a bingo, playing Cutto will obstruct him from playing it in row M. It also, the move Cutto scores 23 points, which is a reasonable score with that rack and with this board. The leave of EI is not good. I think that Cutto takes an E hook at the end. Now I've got the E, so I can take advantage of it. If my opponent is close to a bingo, he probably has got an E. He may not know the E hook, but even if he does and uses it, then by playing a bingo in column 14, he will certainly be opening access to me for plays in column 15, where the triple word squares are. Trying to see if there's anything better than Cutto. I can't see anything, so I'm going to play it. My reward is to draw 2 eyes in addition to the 1 that I had on my rack, so I have 3 eyes to deal with. I don't have a 7-letter bingo. There probably are 2 or 3 8-letter bingos through the appropriate floater, none of which are available, none of which is available at the moment. I will be looking to play off 2 of these 3 eyes. But that may be easier said than done. The V is generally regarded as not a good letter. But it's not too bad with this particular rack because it goes well with E's and I's and R's and S's. One play I could make, if my opponent doesn't use column 14, would be VIRES, starting at J14. So that's placing the V on the triple letter score. It does leave me with 2 I's, but that is compensated for by the score, which I think is 40 points. My opponent is taking his time with this move. I wonder if he is searching for a bingo. I did mention at the beginning when Ination was played that it took a V in front of it, but I can't see any really good plays beginning with the V in that spot. One play with my rack which does use 2 of the I's would be to play IVs, but that would be using the S, which I would rather keep hold of. Now, my opponent's played hell for not many points. He may still be fishing for a bingo, but my priority is to sort out my rack. Well, he's played the floater, which would have enabled me to play Viralize had it been played in a different place. So I think I'm looking at the move I mentioned earlier, which is Vires. If my opponent doesn't know Cutto, he may challenge. Let's see if he does. Now, if I scroll down, we should get to details of this game, and if he challenges, I would see it at the bottom of the narrative on the right of the screen. Well, he did challenge, which is good. Always nice to get 5 extra points reward for superior word knowledge. Looking back at my rack, though, I do have 5 vowels, which is bad. Duplicate A's, duplicate I's, which is bad. And the Z, which is good. And like the J, the Q and the X, the Z is a useful tile to have when you have a lot of vowels, because there are quite a lot of words which involve one of those letters and a number of vowels. And there's often the opportunity to score well. My opponent's played airs. The word I like from my rack is maze, M-A-I-Z-E. Not sure that plays anywhere, but what does play is mazier. And I'm going to put that down on the board, because I can when I'm playing on the internet, and then think about whether I want to play it. You can do that in face-to-face games, but if you do this and then play another move, you've given your opponent information about some of the letters which you've retained on your rack. Mazier scores 36 points, which is good, and the rack leave of AI is not too dire. But is there a better move? tell takes an O at the end as well as an S. Which means I can't take advantage of it with this rack. I can't see anything better than Mazia. So I'm going to play it. And I have drawn a blank, which is always good news. And at this point in the game, I am 42 points ahead. If I can play a bingo before my opponent plays a bingo, then I should be in a reasonable position. And, well, looking at the board, my opponent may well play around the word Mazia. If he doesn't, I have ignorami through the M, using the blank as a G. But there may be something better than that. Well, I certainly will be playing a bingo next move, because if ignorami is, or ignorami is blocked, as it just has been, I have Robinia with the blank as a B underneath hello. That's quite handy, my opponent playing Vale there, because he hasn't scored a great number of points. I am 26 points in front of him, and I'm about to take out one of very few bingo lanes that are on this board. Can't see any bingos better than Robinia, and I don't have a great deal of time to afford myself the luxury of looking round for a better play. That scores 70 points. Yes, I'm reasonably happy with that. And my replenishment rack is not great. Too many consonants and the wrong sort of consonant. This rack is about as far away from a bingo as it's possible to get, but it's a nice rack because I'm confident that I can score. Because the tiles go well together to make short words like fid and mid. Now my opponent has lost contact or quit. He may just have abandoned the game, or his internet connection may have gone down, in which case he will be back again in a moment. So we'll give him a little while and see if he returns, and consider what opportunities are available to us on this board. Well, it's not actually that great. One move I could play would be in row F, where I could play the word frigid through the eye of Mazia. Doesn't score well, but it does sort the rack out. It would leave me with DM. Which isn't terrible. What I'm going to do is pause this video, and if Pichai returns, I will restart the video. Well, I'm back, but unfortunately Pichai did not return. The game has been adjudicated in my favour. I don't know why he stopped playing, but it's one of the hazards of playing on the internet. the main purpose of playing these, of creating these videos, is to give an insight into the thought processes of top players. So we don't need to see a game through to the end to get value out of making a video. But what I can do, since this will be shorter than a regular video, is show you one of the features on this particular program, which is, if I click on history and then click on, let me just get this into view. If I now click on examine for the game Pichai versus Dweeb, then I can click here and go back to the beginning of the game, and now I can go through the game by clicking on this arrow, and at each stage, I'll do this just for my moves, but at each stage I can click on show plays to see what I could have played. So here on the right hand side in the narrative box, you can see that QI was its recommended play. This isn't the list that the program comes up with isn't a definitive list as to definitely what is the best play, but it is a selection of the best plays, and clearly some sort of algorithm is at work. It's useful in particular for quickly checking whether you've missed any bingos, because the program does not miss bingos. So let's see what happens here. Ooh, looks like I could have played exec at J9. Yep, that would have been a nice play. That's where I played X for 56. So exec would have got 6 more points. And the question is the leave HOT worse than the leave CEHOT by 6 points or more? It's actually going to be close, because the E is a really useful letter to have. So although I played X and not exec, I'm reasonably comfortable that the two plays are fairly similar in terms of which is the best play, so I didn't make a major blunder there. Right, this is when I played Oh Ho, so let's just go back to that and click on show plays. Yeah, well, there's no missed bingos there. Oh Ho does appear. The top move on that list, although it scores 13 points more, a rack leave of OO is pretty ropey, certainly compared to one of CEIT. And the real judgment in Scrabble comes with being able to compare CEIT to OO, given the board situation and the score situation, and to then decide whether the inferior leave of OO justifies the the 12 extra points that you get. It is possible to come to analyze games using other software, in particular Quackle, and that can help hone your judgment. But the main thing you're doing all the time as a Scrabble player is comparing moves, and the two elements of the move that you're really juggling are the score for the move and the rack leave. And those are the two key elements which you really need to focus on in determining which move is best. There are other considerations, and there are special circumstances when other considerations assume great significance, but other things being equal, most plays during the game prior to the end game are mainly influenced by score and rack leave. Right, this was the Cutto play. Let's see what the program thought. Well, the program has in first place Cutto with the E at the end, as discussed earlier at the time of making the play. I think playing it without the E was probably better. That was my opponent playing Hell. IVs at H11. Where would that have been? Oh yeah, I hadn't considered that at the time, but clearly putting the I above the T of IOT and playing across to the triple letter scores 38 points and leaves IR, and that is certainly better than my play of Viries keeping II. So my move was suboptimal, but probably second best. Now this was when I played Mazier, and well, Mazier leaving AI for 36 points, you need to compare with Amaze for 40 points, leaving II, and I think Mazier, it's worth sacrificing 4 points to avoid the duplicate I. In general, a duplicate letter costs you about 5 points as a rule of thumb. So if you have duplicate I, for instance, in this case, deduct 5 points from 40 to get to 35, then you're comparing 35 to 36, and you can see it's very close. And if it's very close, I would almost always choose the play that avoids the duplicate letters, because finding the best play with duplicate letters is generally harder than finding the best play without duplicate letters. Now, did we get to make another play? Yes, we did, because Robinia was our last move. Let's see what the alternatives were. Well, there were 3 possibilities. There was Amarini in the same place, or the same row as I played Robinia, but placing the A of Amarini in the first column, which would have opened up the triple word squares. So Robinia, for the same number of points, was a better play than Amarini. And then Tritonia down from 6H, the T of Venation, scored 9 points less, and again opened a triple line, so a triple word square line, which is the row O. So Robinia was the best play there. Right, well, that was not the video I was hoping to make, but I hope you have found it useful, and in particular going through the history of the game. It gives you an insight into some of the moves which I didn't see, and which may have been better than some of the moves I played. It's very hard to play a perfect game in Scrabble. I analyse all my games using Quackle software and its predecessor Maven. And in the last 20 years, I think I have played 1 or 2 perfect games. It's just incredibly hard to achieve perfection. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been a David Webb video for Dweebovision.